If you're a creator that likes to game on the go, then I might just have the perfect setup for you. I paired the Gamesir G8 Plus with my iPad Pro M4, and the results are actually pretty incredible, and it might just be the best gaming handheld I've actually ever used. So in this video, here are 5 reasons as to why I think this combo is unbeatable and why I think you should definitely check it out. Okay, so reason number 1 is going to be console-like controls. So this device really feels like you're holding a console quality-like controller, and I can't help but think it really reminds me of the Xbox controller. And for me personally, that was my favorite controller, and I've basically been playing on that my entire life. So I find it to be very comfortable, and especially if you have like a medium-sized hand, not really large hand, but I would say like a medium-sized hand, then you're gonna find this to be really comfortable to hold. So another feature about this controller is that it has really responsive controls, and you can really feel when you're pulling the triggers. And another highlight of this is that it has Hall effect joysticks, so you can hope that you don't have stick drift whenever you use this device. Something that I really like too is the feel of the actual buttons, and the D-pad is actually really nice. Another feature is that on the back of the controller, you actually have an L4 and an R4 button. So if you're like me, I actually, in all of my controllers, I prefer to have the buttons on the back because I actually map them to my ABXY buttons, and I use those so I can keep my fingers on the joysticks when I'm gaming. This really comes in handy if you're playing shooters. So you can actually jump, or you can strafe. You can jump, strafe, or switch weapons, or whatever you want to do without ever having to take your thumbs off the joysticks. So another defining feature of this device is that it actually stretches, and you can pull it apart, and it can fit anywhere from, like, say, a small smartphone to, I would say, all the way up to about a 13-inch tablet. I actually use mine with my 12.9-inch iPad Pro M4, and it works amazingly. You do have to kind of pop this out of its socket a little bit and wiggle it to get it to fit, and I'll go over that here in a second. If you are interested, there's actually some videos out there of people modding these themselves and adding in like blades or something like that to where it'll actually fully support 13-inch tablets. So you can definitely check those out. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to pop this out. I don't know how this is gonna hold up over time, so take that with a grain of salt. I've had this for a few weeks now, and I've been doing it with my iPad, and I haven't had any issues. But something to think about is long-term effects of actually having to try to fit a 13-inch tablet, and you have to kind of like pop it out of place. So here we go. So basically what I've found is that when you are popping it out, you kind of have to like wiggle it a little bit, and then it pops out. So let me do it from this angle. So you kind of have to like wiggle it like this. So you kind of wiggle it, and then you aim it down, and then it'll pop out like that. And once it pops out, you'll see the springs. Okay, so once you see the springs, you can grab your iPad, and I prefer to put one side in, and then I stretch it to the other side, and boom, now it's attached to my iPad. So here's what it looks like when it's attached. So as you can see, there's actually a small space right here. So this is what I'm talking about when people mod this. They actually add in supports here. And I've seen some people do it with like adding in these blades that'll give you support. So one thing that I've noticed is that if you accidentally put too much pressure and bend it outwards, it'll actually pop off. And I've had that happen a few times. So what I've learned is just kind of like when you're holding it, you kind of have to kind of like hold it and keep some pressure on it, and you won't have any issues after that. But I mean, here, look at that. How awesome is that? I mean, you absolutely just can't beat that for a gaming device. I mean, come on. Would you rather game on this or a tiny little 7-inch screen on any other handheld, really? Something that's absolutely amazing if you have like all of the subscriptions to really utilize and leverage this to be one of the best absolute handhelds that you could get is I have actually been playing Oblivion Remake on this, and it is absolutely amazing. You really cannot beat the iPad screen compared to other handhelds. I mean, look at this. So the best part about this, when you're using your iPad, especially if you have a large iPad like the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, is that you can hold it at an arm's length and feel like it's very comfortable. And something that I noticed, like when I'm using my Steam Deck, is that I oftentimes will find myself holding it up to my face like this, and that gets very exhausting after a while. I mean, you gotta admit, when you combine nostalgia with cool tech, it's pretty amazing. There's just something about running through the old like Imperial Capital, and I played this when I think I was like 13 years old, and it's absolutely insane going back through and playing this. And to be honest, being that young playing a game like the Elder Scrolls, you don't really even understand it that well, or you know what I mean? Like, you go back through and like right now I'm replaying it, and there's so much stuff that I missed, but I'm actually having an amazing experience playing it on this. And I've actually been playing this more in bed than I have at my like gaming setup that I have in the other room on my custom built PC, and I have an OLED monitor. And I've just been really enjoying being able to hold this like this and have this like in your face experience that you can really only get with a handheld. And using the iPad really just blows me away in this experience. I love devices that I can use for multiple things, and I actually got the iPad Pro M4 to bring with me because I like to travel and backpack, and carrying around like a big heavy MacBook all the time on top of camera gear, lenses, drones, and then also trying to figure out if I could bring my Steam Deck or not. Sometimes it's really hard and it's really heavy to pack all of that. But what's awesome is that with the iPad Pro M4, you can both have like your full editing setup, and right now I'm in DaVinci Resolve. So right now, DaVinci Resolve, and you can fully edit 4K videos. You can shoot all of your content, edit it on here. You can hop into Lightroom, edit that. And then when you're done or you need a break, you can simply just flip out of it and then go straight into like GeForce Now, and boom, now you're ready to like game, and you can just be set up and ready to go in a second. And you really can't have that experience on really any other device. And this really is like an all-in-one package. But at the end of the day, I think it's a match made in heaven with having a really console controller-like device and pairing that with an amazing device with like the iPad Pro M4. If you are a mobile gamer, creator, and traveler, then there really isn't a better combo than the Gamesir G8 Plus and the iPad Pro M4. I can't recommend it more. It's honestly amazing. It's like one of the coolest pieces of tech that I think I've acquired in a while, and it both inspires me to create and honestly game more. And devices that make you do that, I mean, it's a win-win scenario. Again, with the Gamesir G8 Plus, you get a full console-like controller experience that's very high quality, Hall effect joysticks, Bluetooth, so you can charge your iPad. You can also charge the device on its own, and it's really easy to access. You can have it fit any device. If you don't feel like using your iPad, you can use your phone instead and still use the same controller. It really is the highlight that I've added to my camera bag and my travel bag. All right, so as always, I go by NickyT. If you like the content and you really gravitate towards like tech gear that can be used for gaming, productivity, and creator work, then you've definitely found the right channel. Drop me a sub if that resonates with you. And I would love to hear from you. If you have an awesome device that you want me to take a look at, or that you know of that I haven't experienced yet, definitely drop me a comment. I'm really eager to building a solid community on here focused on like this type of content. So if that does resonate with you, again, drop a like on the video. It really does help me, and it helps creators a ton on this platform. So when you're out there scrolling through videos, if you do enjoy the content, definitely drop that creator a like. They put in a lot of work, and it definitely just like really helps make their day and make it all worth it, because it also helps them reach new audiences and helps them grow. So again, I go by NickyT, and take care, and let's create, travel, and game together. Peace.